What's up everybody, David Rodriguez here, and today we're going over the last two sections of the joint warm-up. And I'm sorry, I've had this weird cough thing in my throat, so if I sound a little odd, that's why. So today we're going to be going over the cervical spine, our neck basically, and our shoulders, the last two components to the joint warm-up. And of course, having good mobility in both our shoulders, it's good for our touchdown eyes, good for cartwheels, it's just good for life in general. Same thing just about with our neck, so it helps us when we look. It's not going to feel weird and you're going to have like odd tinges in your neck because you've already put yourself into those ranges of motion. It's going to help you with your twisting, so on and so forth. So without further ado, we'll just get the neck out of the way. So that's the easiest one. So when you do this, like with everything, right, things that we want to avoid is that when you're looking to the side or whatever, you don't want to be moving your shoulders. You don't want to be moving, I guess, also your spine, right? So nothing right here in this torso should be moving. Everything should stay in line. So you'll start, you can put your chin down, you look up, doesn't matter. Chin down, right? Look. Only moving from the neck as far as you can get it. So you're going to feel a squeeze right here, right, where all the muscles are contracting here, and you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch on the opposite side. And you'll look up as much as you can. Same thing. You'll get a little bit of a squeeze right here. Same stretch right here. All the way. Now you'll feel the stretch in your neck when you're looking up. Turn. Now you feel the squeeze on the opposite side with the stretch coming down here. Down. Same thing. Stretch. Squeeze. Back to the middle point. Back to center. You can go the opposite way. Look. Up. Around. Down. Center. So that's for our cervical, or for our neck, right? You can even, and if that's a little bit too much, you can even just go from your side to side, up and down, until things kind of start feeling good and loose, and then you can start doing circles. Now, again, right, none of these things should be causing pain. So if something is definitely causing you pain just from having to look off to the side in normal ranges of motion, you should probably get that checked out. So let's go ahead and move on to our shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and go over one of the variations for our shoulders. And it's just going to be, all you got to do is stand right here, right? Put your arms in a neutral position. Now, when you do these things that you want to avoid, when I say you're going to do two things, you're going to do protraction and retraction. So protraction is when you go here, or this is what you do not want to do. So you don't want to hunch over, pull your arms down, or squeeze them together. All right, you don't want to have all of this, because then not only are we are protracting our shoulders, but we're also kind of hunching here at our back, and this isn't what we want. We want to just have nice, squeeze right here. Same thing with retraction. You just want to have this. This is just retraction. You don't want to have anything kind of like leaning back or kind of weird squeezing underneath you. You just try to keep those shoulders, boom, right here, right? You don't want to also, so don't open up the shoulders. This is not what we're looking for in this specific exercise. You just want to squeeze shoulder blades back. So let's get into it. So we're here, neutral position, no protraction, retraction, normal, wherever your shoulder stands to where it stands. So from here, now we're going to protract, all right? Now you're going to shrug your shoulders up. You're going to obviously feel the squeeze right here in your traps. This is what you want. You're going to pull back into retraction. Now from here, you're going to feel the squeeze now in your rhomboids, which is the muscle that's in between your spine and your scapula, the rhomboid. And you're going to feel it right here in the top of your traps. So when you pull back to retraction, now you're going to pull down to neutral, where you were before, And now you're going to try and squeeze your shoulder blades down. You're trying to squeeze the tips of your scapula together. So, coming down, and then I'll be coming back to protraction, middle, back up to the top. And then so it just kind of makes one big circle. So we just want to move our shoulder through. And now you can even go the opposite way. So instead of coming up, you go down first, down, up, down, up, so on and so forth. And now you can even do that on the ground. If we're on the ground for this variation, a similar variation that we just did, you're going to be here, tabletop position, spine, hips, shoulders, all in a straight line as neutral as possible. And you'll feel it a little bit more here than you do when you stand up, because you'll really be able to actually kind of sink into the ground when you retract your shoulder blades, and you'll really be able to push away and feel that stretch in your rhomboids and in your back and your spine whenever you're doing protraction. So this is normal tabletop position, right? So we're gonna go retract those shoulder blades together. Oh, you see that sink, right? Pull those shoulder blades down, push up into retraction, squeeze those shoulder blades up by your ears, sink again, pull back, and you just boom, make that circle. Protraction, bring the shoulder blades down, retraction. And the same thing, you can go the opposite way. Protraction, bring the shoulder blades down, retraction. And so now hopefully I wasn't doing it, I might have been doing it, but you don't want to be like moving back and forth with your butt going back and forth, or your hips moving back and forth with what you're doing. Same thing, everything's just going to try and stay here in the shoulder blades, or in your ball and socket joint. Just the shoulder, nothing else should be moving. So let's go ahead and move on to the third and final shoulder variation that I got for y'all. So now this final variation is kind of where things get sticky in certain situations. If you have good, healthy shoulders, I would recommend this exercise for sure. Now, if you've already had something messed up with your shoulder and something, this is probably going to be a little bit hard, because depending on how your shoulder healed, some range of motion may be acceptable, some may not, and some might even be painful from what I learned over the weekend. So the way it starts is typically you would have a wall here. I don't have a nice clean wall to use this, but so you can, the closer you are, the harder it's going to be. You want to, when you first start out, it's always better to be safer than just throwing yourself up against the wall. But so we're going to give ourselves a little bit of berth. We're going to hold the shoulder out, right? Neutral position, nothing happens. Now you're going to lift all the way up to here, to neutral position or whatever. Now you're going to squeeze all the way up past your ear. Now, when I'm here, I shouldn't have to turn my chest, and I shouldn't have to turn my back or anything. Everything should just stay here in the middle. And I squeeze up to here. Now, from here, I'm going to, don't turn from your wrist. It's going to kind of feel that way, but you want to think of it more as you're turning from your shoulder. So you're going to try and turn that shoulder out to the outside, and your wrist follows. Now from here, you're going to bring the shoulder down. So if I had a wall, I wouldn't want to be touching the wall. I'm trying to squeeze everything as much as I can to keep everything from touching that wall. Turn that shoulder in, I bring it back down to here. You can even go the opposite way and squeeze all here up to the back as much as you can. Open from that shoulder, out, squeeze all the way up to the top. To here, rotate that shoulder back in, come down to neutral. Now, again, this would be much better if you had a wall. But if you can consciously kind of think of what you're supposed to do, avoid compensations by either moving left or right depending on what shoulder that you're using. I like this a lot, especially I literally try to mimic the same motion when I am doing my touchdown rise. So instead of coming, as you know, right, some people kind of like to come off to the side. And if that works for you, that works for you. But some people also want to try and hit that nice, almost like back handspring aesthetic. This is going to be a good exercise for really emphasizing like the position that you need to feel. You need to be like, oh, well, when I do this touchdown rise, I go, right, you pull that shoulder, you go, so I go to my left, so I go here, open, boom, squeeze, right? And I twist it just a little bit. So something I still have to work on. But this is the position that I try and think of whenever I'm going through my whole circle of my touchdown rise, right? So I take my big step, try to squeeze, open, keep everything up by your ear, boom, look, right? Now, as I said earlier, for some people this might be painful. Hopefully he doesn't mind me talking about it, but Ethan Turner, I had showed him this exercise and he said that it hurt him, right? And so if it hurts, don't do it. There's no reason to try and like force anything to happen, especially if it's an acute pain. There's no reason for you to try and force yourself to do this. So there's other exercises, just like I demonstrated. Those exercises shouldn't be anything crazy, right? So if one exercise doesn't work, find others. Just because you can't do one doesn't mean it's the end of the world and you're never going to be able to build resiliency or strength in whatever it is that you're doing, right? Adaptations, progressions, regressions, find something else. This is David Rodriguez with the joint warm-up, the final piece of the joint warm-up. I kind of don't know what I'm going to do after this, but we'll figure it out. I hope that you all enjoyed this series, and I will see y'all in the next video. Please like, subscribe, Stomp Tricking, same thing on Instagram, stomp.tricking, and I hope you'll have a good day. Peace.